Welcome back to Port Elizabeth, the beautiful city. This is part 33, and I thought I'd start with how I actually started this chapter in my DVD digital book, as it were, by the same title. So we'll get to this part of Richmond Hill later on this section, because this was quite an outing on this day in, let's just have a look, list of contents. Okay, so there were two sections to this, and the first section was Albany Road, Richmond Hill, and Cape Recife. So this happened on the 22nd of November 2014. We start at the old fire station at the bottom of Albany Road, take on a bit more of Richmond Hill, back to Newington Road for another quick look there, the Provincial Hospital, Richley House in Cape Road, College Avenue, a bit of Mount Croy, some cricket at the Old Grey Fields, an Anglo-Boer War memorial, and the PE Children's Home. So we won't get to all of that in this section, but let's just start here at the old fire station, bottom of Albany Road. And yeah, beautiful building. I hope I've written something up about it. Okay, it says here the fire station was built in 1930. I guess this would be Art Deco. It's quite a complex, really. So it comprises buildings sort of there. This would have been the main fire station. I guess these were peripheral sort of sections. And then there are even buildings on this side of the road, so complementing each other. So this was initially called Cooper's Kloof before the road was built, I think. And it says here the road dates back to the 1860s. So looking across, this is the facade. So that's where the old fire engines would have come in and out. Obviously, this is no longer a functioning fire station. That's been moved up to South End. And so this would have been the main power station, but in 1990, it went to the South End. So I walked up a bit, and it was a view down. And how's that for a lovely view of the old Erica School, which we featured in an earlier video. So Erica School, I think, dated back from the early 20th century, and now we've got below it this Art Deco building. And there you see both of them. So this is actually the upper part. I don't know why it had so many different sections, but at least they've been retained. I think businesses are in these now. I like this little dome thing. I wonder what that was ever used for. That's the Erica up above what would have been the banks of a stream leading down to the sea. Key part of this, of course, is this lovely, the tiling on the roof. It gives it that nice texture. So yeah, that's the building across the road in the same style. And looking down Albany Road, you've got also quite historic buildings here. Excuse me. Pretty cold night here for Port Elizabeth, down to about 8 degrees, which in a city where you don't have central heating is quite chilly. There's a church which I've never actually visited, just on the hill on the left-hand side as you go down Albany. Then I decided to go up St. Patrick's Road, which is at the bottom of Richmond Hill. Not a very safe-seeming place, but anyway, I took my courage in my hands and saw some gables up there which looked interesting. At least it was clean, you know, there's not too much litter around. There's that church. Mackay Road, we met it earlier in our previous walk through Richmond Hill. Now this is St. Patrick's Road. It runs parallel to Main Street. And that's that gabled place we saw initially. So quite a few interesting constructions along this. One of the oldest streets in PE, presumably, just right just off Main Street. And I love this building here with the two gables. I think I get a nicer, closer view of it. Now, this is the nicest view. This one, the light's catching it with this Tudor sort of facade. So I headed on, looked around, photographed these interesting buildings, prayed that I wouldn't get mugged, and took in some interesting views as well across the sort of industrial area. I love this old grass, tufts of grass that grow sort of in the wilder areas of Old Central. And that was a former milling company, I think. We do another walk down that way at some point. And now up Suffolk Street. Very steep, eh? That's what characterizes this Port Elizabeth foreshore, steep hills all along. And an Art Deco electricity substation. That's quite a nice view up here. Peterson Lane off Suffolk. Lansdowne Place, but this is Tuller Place on the left there. Sherlock Road, we met previously. That's the kind of awnings I was talking about that used to characterize old Port Elizabeth. So you can imagine a whole lot of houses with those awnings. Sherlock Street. Callington. We met Callington Street right at the other end, next to the Erica School. So yeah, this, I remember pointing these out on my last trip in walk through Richmond Hill. Now I think we'd take a closer look, and this was actually an interesting suburb. I remember this was a dodgy place. At here they are. This was a important little design. This whole block was carefully designed with this as a feature in the middle. Hard to get the whole thing in, unfortunately, in one picture. Too many trees obscuring it. But this is on a par really with the Donkin Row and those others in, what was it, Ivy Terrace. So yeah, I took this aerial thing off Google Earth because it shows it's in a triangle and these sort of dominate it. And that's that view we were looking at. So as we come towards the end of Sherlock Street, we reach a T-junction. And there you can see that row of so then I go up Mackey Street, which we'd done earlier. And then I had this little chap interested in what I was doing, and he insisted I take his picture. I turned around at this point. I think still seem to be heading up. Yep, back down towards where the car was parked in Albany Road. But I think I walked down, to the bottom of Albany Road, where it intersects with Main Street. And looking up along Main Street and back up Albany. So walking back up Albany, dirty drain. Then at the top of Albany, this is Newington Road again. So we've given the Newington Row a miss, but explored a little bit more of, okay, we saw Windy Ridge earlier, but there's another view of it. And then across the road, this jacaranda in full bloom. Dickens Street. We saw Upper Dickens Street in a previous walk. And then going down Dickens towards the road, the sea. And I want to get to this beautiful jacaranda. And the shadows are important, aren't they? Ah, here are the Newington Rose again. This is Reba Street. I really did get around this time. This is at the top of Albany Road. That's actually a little footbridge over Albany. And again, some nice buildings. That footbridge to North End. Okay, so I think at this point I'm going to call a halt because we're now in Buckingham Road and that's the provincial hospital. So we're going to start there at the next video. Cheers for now.